Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. Today we're going to be taking a look at Victory Works' Small Prairie pack, the GWR Small Prairies. There are, in essence, 3 different locomotives included in this pack, but they're all under the same kind of broad category of Small Prairie. As you see that we're looking at right now is the 4400s. There's also the 4500s and the 4575s that are all included in the pack. I'm also currently getting over the cold flu, so if I sound like I'm dying at all throughout this video, I promise I'm not. I just might feel like it. But this is one of my favorites to fiddle around with for the British side of life. I really enjoy the Prairie type as it is. 262s tend to get overlooked a lot, especially here in the United States. 262s are typically thought of as logging locomotives only, and logging just in general doesn't get much fanfare outside of, the real well-known Shays, Climaxes, and such, which we still haven't seen in Train Simulator. But these are some of my favorites to fiddle around with. These are built and introduced in 1906, sometime around that time period, if I remember reading correctly. One of these was introduced in 1906. It's a little bit of information to have tried to take in with the 3 different classes, but in essence they were all built to do the same thing, kind of a mixed traffic locomotive for branch line services, hilly countries and such. So these locomotives can pull fast freight, passengers, stuff of that nature. The 4500 and the 7500s are rated for about 60 miles an hour. I don't know if the 4400s are the same. I'll kind of go over why that is in a minute, but unfortunately there are no 4400s in preservation today. All were scrapped. There are a few of the 4575s, I believe. I don't remember if there are any 4500s. So yeah. The one we'll be using is a 4575 back there. That is the only other locomotive that is not present here because it's bright red, and I love the bright red. But you also get a fairly decent large set of rolling stock, which it's not half bad. If you picked up multiple Victory Works packs, then a fair number of the rolling stock might not necessarily be something you haven't seen before, but it's something better than the same old that we keep seeing from DTG that's been in the game since release. Those old BR standard freight cars and such that are so out of date, it's not even funny. So yeah. So at first we got the 4400s here. One of the biggest things you're gonna notice right off the bat whenever you go to any of the other locomotives is the driver size. So we've got a 4500 and we've got a 4400 right here. And the most noticeable thing right off the bat is those drivers. That was what was the real big change between the 2 series. They used the same boiler, same cab, same saddle tanks, coal bunker and everything, same frame. From about, really even the cylinders and pilot and trailing, all of that is, if you just cut out this right here is your biggest difference between these 2 locomotives. Driver spacing and driver size was the big change right here. So that's why earlier I said I know these 2, I believe, the 4575s and the 4500s are rated for 60 miles an hour. I don't know that the 4400s were because of the smaller drivers. steam locomotives, typically the larger the driver, the faster that they're built to run. So these smaller drivers, I would imagine that these locomotives are rated for a slower speed, which may not be such a problem if you're running these things on a route like the Malmesbury branch, or maybe on a preservation route like the West Somerset route or something, the North Somerset, something like that, where you speed limit is 25 mile an hour or something. It's not such an issue, but somewhere like this, we're on the Settle to Carlisle, it might make a difference. Where the speed limit actually does jump up to about 60 miles an hour. These locomotives might struggle. That's right about where this happy spot is. So that's the bigger difference between here and here. And then, as you see, we've got the 4500s. And then we hop over to the 4575s. And the drivers remain the same. So this is one of those odd ones where from here down, they remain about the same between the two. From here up, they change. So the 4575's got a larger saddle tanks. As you can kind of see here, we got this, it comes up a little taller, curves up, versus these are just straight out and down. I don't remember if the coal bunker got extended as well. I don't believe so. Going off of that quality Wikipedia. So I'm definitely not gonna act like I know a whole lot about these. I do not dive into British locomotives all that much. I just know what I enjoy to fiddle around with in game. So yeah, I know the water tank's one of the bigger differences that'll swap between the two. I don't know what else. I don't think much else really changes. So yeah. Of course, you will get multiple different color schemes for both British Rail and the GWR. Most of the GWRs are going to be green with variations in the lettering. So like this one here is Great Western for the 4500, whereas the 4400 is GWR, and then of course you have British Rail's black. Same for the 4500s will get a British Rail in both green and black. And then we hop over to the 4575s, and the GWR will get the little GWR logo right here, and then the British will get a dark green with this really nice pinstriping going on, and then the usual black. And then one more. Boogity 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 boo. This bright red Capital Railways C150. This is also a 4575, and I absolutely adore this color. Am I running this properly? Nah, probably not, but I love the color. It's a really neat looking locomotive. And then of course our rolling stock will come with it as well, so you'll get some milk cars. Of course a brake car, and then a handful of these kind of boxes. Gunpowder. Yes, it's kind of a neat one. A salvage car. This is for picking up scrap metal and whatnot during World War II. This would have gone around. People would have loaded it up to contribute to the war effort. Fruit van. Banana van. So yeah, a little string of different freight cars right there. I'm a big passenger guy, so I typically end up running these with coaches and such. But now I do have the manual pulled up in my side screen because there's a bunch of different little things you can change. If you've ever fiddled with Victory Works' stuff, you'll note that it's kind of a code. Kind of like I showed when I did the video of Smokebox's FEF3. Whenever you double click this in an editor, it'll pull out a little side window here, and it's got a little code right here where you can change the number. You can change some extra little settings like buffer plates and such. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now. So, right about here. Oh, I should absolutely note while I'm thinking about it. This is also kind of a show off of Steam Sound Supreme. Because Victory Works is notorious for using the same sounds for everything. And these did not manage to avoid that issue. And you guys know my opinion of reusing sounds. So I absolutely picked up the Steam Sound Supreme upgrades for these, and it absolutely makes a difference. I unfortunately do not have that pulled up, which while I'm sitting here chitty-chatting, I could probably pull that up on my phone, because, you know, technology today takes just a couple seconds to kind of pull something up and look, but yeah, I picked up the Steam Sound Supreme for just about all of Victory Works' stuff, because those guys do some pretty good work. Their sound upgrades really make a difference, in my opinion. Some might not like them. Good for you, I guess. I love them. Like I said, I like it whenever, you know, I got a different locomotive. I want it to sound different. I want it to sound like it's not the exact same locomotive as the other 5. If you place this down, I think these and the 14XX, might have been the 56XX, I don't remember. Oh, goodness. But, I remember there was like 3 or 4 of these locomotives that Victory Works had done, and they all use the same blasted sounds, so Steam Sound Supreme comes in clutch for that. So no, this will not be a bone stock video. I didn't want to go through the trouble of trying to take those take the new sounds off to run these with the old sounds. It just almost seemed like it was a waste to begin with. So, yeah. So just an FYI before somebody pops in and goes, "Well, mine doesn't sound like yours." Well, that's because I got the Steam Sound Supreme upgrade, and like I said, it is absolutely worth it, 100%. I'm still trying to pull up the listing, but anywho, while I'm pulling up the listing, we can read through here. Scroll all the way down to here somewhere. We'll get there eventually. Boom. So, like I said, when I did the video of the FEF3s, you'll remember that there are things that you can change up on them. Numbers will change, different details and such. Well, that's the same with these locomotives. These locomotives have a what do they have? They have the code options. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, but they have the code options. So you got the DW. So what are we on? We're on the 4400s right now. A lot of these are going to be the same across the board, across all of them, but there are some things that will change between each locomotive. But so we got D. It's gonna be number one right here. It's pretty simple to figure this out, but that'll be D, dry or wet scenario. So if it were raining or something right now, I could change this to say W, and it would make it kind of perform like it's wet outside. What do we got? 4-digit locomotive. So this number right here, this will be your locomotive number. You can change that to whatever you want. ATC fitted, yes or no? I tend to go with no, because I like to run these locomotives in the background, kind of listen to them while I tinker with my model trains. So I get rid of that mess. That, for American guys, this right here is kind of the British version of a dead man switch. So if you don't fiddle with something for a certain amount of time, it'll go to screaming and throw off your emergency brakes and all that fun stuff. Locomotive will come to a screeching halt. So that is one of the things that I typically avoid, but you can choose whether or not it is fitted. Cab shutters, which will be that one. Coal guard, which will be that one. Buffers, tapered or parallel. Company logo, a safety valve cover. Smoke pipes, smoke box pipes. Boiler top handle, and lamp casings, red or white. So that's for the 4500s. We'll scroll down a little bit. Or for the 4400s, I'm sorry. And it will change. So this is the 4400s BR. So definitely remember that right there before you get mad. Say, oh, mine's not showing the same things. Remember, there's differences between the roads to whatever BR attained. Yeah, when BR got hold of them. So different things will change. So we have pretty much the same stuff, or same kind of setup. And it'll continue down to the 4500s. And all the way down to the 4575s. As you can see. Now, there are some things that you can change on the freight cars. I tend not to tinker with it because I don't know anything about it. But, yeah, you can change it if you want. You can go through, read here, it'll show you, you know, banana vent, no end vents, no side vents, any hinged doors, one end vent, 4 end vents, for the different cars and such. So all kinds of things you can tinker around with on these things. So let's oogie and boogie back to our locomotive here so we can tinker around with it. So we got advanced mode on. We're not worried about the Windsor Castle. We are, however, worried about pulling up a route here so that we can go for a spin. Go back to here. Now, this is one of those locomotives that absolutely suffers from the issue of trying to drive it without the F4 HUD. The injectors don't work. So you have to use the F4 HUD to run the injectors, which is excruciatingly frustrating for this because this locomotive is fairly easy to figure out. It does have the advanced scripting and whatnot, so it does run really nicely. It does run like a steam locomotive should. But you still got to pop up that F4 HUD to use your injectors, which bugs the fire out of me, but, you know, DTG problems. So, we can open our side doors, we can drop our seat here. Now, for some wonky reason, sometimes the little handle show up, sometimes it won't. So, like our door here, it won't, our chair here, it won't. You just have to click on it and kind of figure it out. Here's one of those wonky spots that it won't ever show up. But you can open this back door, or this back hinge panel, but it's got a really... There it is. There we go. You can open that. Actually, sounds pretty cool too. You can open these back windows right through your head, and it does translate inside and outside. So, like inside, you can see our windows now open. You know how often I'd hit my head on that. I'd be so mad. Got our cab vent. I don't know why, but as you guys saw, had a nice gap right there, and I clicked on it and it popped back into place. So there's a little bit of a wonkiness there, but you can open that. Got our front windows here. They all got some pretty neat sounds too. The door sides open here. And again, like I said, this all translate inside and outside. So see our doors open, our chairs down. My guy's feet are going through the floor. Start building our fire up. So this, I love this. I love that they integrated this like this. So if you're running it without the F4 HUD back before the update, you open your firebox with that. This controls the flow. So this is your stoking. If you've got this open all the way up, your fireman's shoveling coal in nice and hard. And as you can see, it slowly builds up. So that it's a visual. You can visually see it building up. And you can actually control the stoking. It's awesome. I love that. I love it. It makes life so much easier for actually running this locomotive without the F4 HUD. But you can also open that thing, that little flap there. I don't know what it's for, but it is there. I got our dampers down here. So dampers, left is front, right is rear. So we want front because we're going forward. Let's see, what do we got? That's our blower. Crank that up a little bit. Our sanders right here. Of course, our reverse lever. You do have to hold the E key, which will unlock your reverser and then pull forward. Our cylinder cocks right here. Handbrake. It's kind of our side windows. Not really a window per se. Safety valves. Let's back up a little bit because I finally got the Steam Sound Supreme doohickey pull up. Safety valves are loud. So, as far as what you'll get with Steam Sound Supreme, whenever you pick up that upgrade, you'll get a full range of new exhaust sounds, including pilot main valve, exhaust loops for better sounding high speed running, new ejector, blower, injector, and safety valve sounds, coasting sound effects, noisy running sounds with realistic distance fade effects, new whistle sounds, 8 brand new immersive scenarios, sounds for all small prairie types. Of course, please note you must own the Victory Works Small Prairie Pack. So, that is what is included with the Steam Sound Supreme upgrade. It's a full sound listing. The exhaust steam actually looks pretty decent. Their exhaust smoke, somebody's gonna pot off either way I say that, so, but the exhaust looks pretty decent. Even the venting steam over here on our safety valves looks pretty decent. Let's go ahead and start building up everything so we can get going. Brakes. I hope you guys don't like your ears. Of course, we got a dual whistle. We got a brake whistle and a regular whistle, a whistle. Heating valve, injectors, which, like I said, don't work. If you're trying to do it this way, it will not fill up. It'll show that it's on too. You'll see the steam coming out down over here from your injector valves and such. You'll see all that. But your boiler still will not fill up no matter what you do. So you do have to run it with the F4 HUD right now, unfortunately. So right there, release. That's our normal spacebar whistle. Some really good sounding chuff sounds. I really like them. The exhaust smoke should change whether or not you're building up your fire. It should change in color if I remember correctly. Which it's not, but Whatever. So while we're continuing along here, let's go back to tinkering around. There's the brake whistle, so you have to hold control. Control will choose whether you blow your regular whistle or your brake whistle. So spacebar, high pitch whistle, control spacebar, low pitch whistle. Our first safety valve starts to pop off. And I'm speeding. It's really a good sounding locomotive. I really like the Steam Sound Supreme upgrades. It makes a huge difference, believe you me. Like I said, if you guys own multiple Victory Works products, the locomotives look really good, but they're just notorious for using the same exact sounds, and it can make it feel like you're not really running a different locomotive. So those sound upgrades really help. Here's our safety valve. While our safety valve is screaming at us, we have a little view for a brake band. Pretty nice. A couple different, you can either be kind of hanging off the side here, or you're sitting in the middle just watching out the back. That's pretty cool. While I'm thinking about it, you can let's cut our throttle down a little bit so we can hear ourselves over that exhaust. But you can change your headlight codes. So of course, control 1, that'll change where it places the headlights. I think it's control 1 through 4. So I don't think you get red. So you can change that control and just keep pressing the number for whatever setup you want. I like to burn off a little bit of our boiler pressure so that our safety valves aren't screaming the entire time. It really does sound pretty good. Let's kind of listen to a flyby here. Not half bad. There we are. Now we're burning off a little bit of our top up here. Huh, that distance phase is kind of nice. Overall, just a really nice locomotive. Like I said, they're really well detailed. We got some, proper rivets. We got all sorts of little bells and whistles. Now these do not have the inside detailing inside the frame that a bunch of other stuff like Caledonia Works or digital traction. They don't have all the valve gear and whatnot going on inside, which isn't such a problem because you really can't see it on these locomotives. Inside the frame's pretty well covered up no matter which direction you look at it, so it's not so much an issue that you can't see any valve gear in there. But this is a nice little detail right here. I believe this is the oiler right here. You can see it running with running as we run. Overall, just a really nicely detailed locomotive. It really is. The texturing looks pretty good. All the detail looks good. There are some kind of wonkinesses. I don't know if it's the shadows or whatnot, but it'll create kind of these little wavy lines like right here and right here. Like I said, I don't know if that's the shadows. You really see it right there, or if that's something conflicting with something, but it does have some weird spots like that kind of, I don't want to say ruin it, but they're kind of wonky. Inside, it looks pretty decent. The texturing does look a little bit blurry, which I think is supposed to kind of give the illusion that it is. I think it's supposed to give the illusion that it's kind of, oh, I don't know, weathered, I guess, worked on. I don't know why this is set so mean. I don't need to go that way. It really does sound pretty good. Like I said, those Steam Sound Supreme upgrades really help. Lettering and such looks really, really crispy on these, which is something I don't get to say very often. More often than not, the lettering, the striping and such ends up really, really blurry. But the lettering on these looks really nice. Really crispy. Now it does kind of, the rivets will create these kind of weird shadows that are blacked out, which I don't know what that's aiming for, but it kind of does it all the way around, so I think it's meant more for a weathering effect. This yellow pinstripe here kind of looks a little bit blurry. Well, even this one. So the black doesn't look half bad. The yellow definitely ends up looking a little blurry. Lettering here looks really, really nice. Really nice. Lettering here looks really nice. I mean, overall, it's just a really, really decent looking locomotive. So now that we're stopped, too, I can kind of hop in here between the frames. So, like I said earlier, these do not have really anything animated inside the frame here, which might irk some people. It doesn't really irk me. It's like even our oiler here. I believe that's our oiler. It's not connected to anything. It just hangs down. It wiggles as you move. But some might like it, some might not. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like I say, you really can't see down in the frame, so it doesn't really irk me all that much. But yeah, overall, it's just a really good looking locomotive. The brass looks alright. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I think that's supposed to be a rust texture, but not a fan of it. That's probably one of those odd details that I really don't like on this locomotive. I don't like that. It's just, I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I really don't. Maybe a fire or something. But it doesn't really look like rust to me. But everything else looks really, really nice. The brass kind of has this shiny gleam to it, like it's a well-cleaned locomotive, well cared for. There's not a whole ton of weathering anywhere. But, you know, doesn't bother me all that much. I like the way it looks. So yeah, outside of a couple little irks, overall a really nice pack. Now you can get this pack from a couple different places. I believe Victory Works works with Steam Sound Supreme, so you can pick these up, if I remember correctly, you can pick these up off of Steam Sound Supreme's website directly, or you can get them through the Steam store. I picked these up from the Steam store. I didn't know Steam Sound Supreme existed when I bought these, so unfortunate, but now that I got it, 100% worth it. I highly recommend checking it out if you like the kind of smaller side of British life. I like these little locomotives. I like little tank locomotives, especially when I play British routes. I really like these little engines. They're a lot of fun, but we're gonna go ahead and back off before that main safety valve pops off and we can't hear ourselves think. But I highly recommend picking it up, and if you do, I really highly recommend checking out Steam Sound Supreme's sound upgrades. Because like I said, that's what you guys were hearing just now. All the sounds came from them. Those are not the stock sounds that you will get with the pack. Because what you will get with the pack, while their stock sounds are not horrible, they're just reused a few too many times. You guys know my opinion on reusing sounds. I don't care if it uses the exact same whistle as 3 other locomotives. It sounds different. No matter what you do, different locomotives are going to sound different. That's how life is. So, I believe these are a $20 pack on Steam. I don't know how much they are from Steam Sound Supreme. Their sound pack is, I believe, like $5, $6. So for about a total of $25, this is what you'll get set up along with the locomotives and such that you guys saw back in the back there. 100% worth it. Highly recommend it. 100% worth it. It's awesome. Great little pack. And they offer sound upgrades for all the other ones, which I'll take a look at later on as time permits. So, anywho's, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a real fun one. Of course, I will link Steam Sound Supreme's website for the sound upgrades. Like I said, I'm not dead certain where all you can get this locomotive. I know I got mine from Steam, so you can go to Steam, check it out, and then of course Steam Sound Supreme's website I will have linked in the description to go check out the sound upgrade. That's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.